involved in ASQ for a very, very long time, and before that, and some couple other professional societies. Can you not hear me? Now you can hear me, right?
Welcome, Wali. Wali.
So I'm Wali, and thank you very much for introducing me. It seems like I've done a whole lot in my life, but the thing is that I've had a whole lot of time, okay? A whole lot of time. It would have been much more impressive if I was like 25 years old, but oh well, it's okay, right? On that note, what I really want to do, and this might come as a surprise, can you guess how old I am? So I'm going to make it easy. Am I older than 40?
Yes.
Show of hands. Older than 50?
I would guess 25.
25?
Yeah.
I mean, how long have you known me? 25 years. All right, but really, 60? More than 60? Good. More than 70? More than 90 for crying out loud? No. Well, so the correct answer is more than 70. So now what does that have to do with my presentation? There is a reason I'm asking that. The presentation is about the evolution of production and quality, okay? So the good news is that qualifies me as an eyewitness to lots of things that have happened, okay? Truly, and you will hear, what those things were. And so I am happy to put all that at your service. So what am I going to talk about is the evolution, okay? Then I'm going to go into what I call fondly the arsenal of weapons of mass quality. How's that? There's a reason I call it weapons, okay? Then I'm going to talk about automation, okay? Because that's what it all is about. The evolution is really about automation. And then hopefully I'm going to give you a vision, my vision of where quality should go, okay? Or quality systems should go. With that, there you go. This is large groups of people working together to build a product, right? So that's what most industries nowadays are, large groups of people building a product. And you can see me over there with the papyrus, right? I mean, that's me with the drawing of the pyramid. I went back in 1997 just to check how things work, and that's me on the camel, and it was good. It's truly good. Okay, so, but all kidding aside, in the evolution of quality, obviously, is tied with production. And what happens here is, you see the steam engine, that started the first industrial revolution, okay? And what does that mean? That the steam engine put the first industrial revolution in motion. How's that? The steam engine put something in motion. It did its job, right? Then, what did it do though? Think automation. It automated muscle power. It took care of muscle power, or many of those muscle power. And where the muscle power used to come from before the steam engine were from horses, from donkeys, from elephants, and the most common beast of burden, men, right? So, automation, taking care of human elements. The second revolution happened when more equipment, machines, electricity, and so on come along, and now we have huge plants, huge plants. By the way, I honestly have been to, I think that plant, okay? I did not take that picture, but I've been to plants like that in Pittsburgh, okay? In the early 90s. Now that one, that's the Ford plant. The thing about this part is that now you have very large numbers of people, okay? Very large numbers of people, so which presents a special new dynamic and had to be dealt with, right? The kinds of problems or challenges that come with managing large groups of people and not having riots and actually get work out of them, right? So that so I'm going to talk about that. Then the third revolution was the one that started, I imagine, a long time ago, but in full force in the 60s, because I was there in college when that happened. And now the current one is the fourth revolution that we're going through. How many people know that we are going through a fourth revolution? Good, good. So the fourth revolution, again, is automation. Now we are talking about mental work. Mental work. And over one on the top, also mental work. So, in summary, the entire deal about the evolution of quality and production is automation, which is take the human element out. So sounds like that's not a good thing. It's a great thing. Think about what all these revolutions have done for us. Okay, it doesn't look like a good thing at that moment. There are stories about London. The nicest, cleanest, wonderfulest city, say more than 150 years ago. And when the steam engine came and other things, and they were putting in trolleys, trams, and said, oh my God, this is the end of the world, because what are we going to do with the horses and what the horses leave behind? There were industries built on that, okay? I don't think anyone misses them anymore in London, right? So these revolutions, folks, has been good, even if it looks scary. There are many things going on right now that look scary. What I'm going to tell you is that you're going to have faith in automation. You're going to hear me repeat that again and again. I'll give you reasons why I say that. Now, for having all those things done and being done, we need people not only in the factories, but people, thinkers. I call them the original thinkers. Now, the original thinkers, my favorite is the fellow in the middle, Alfred Sloan. How many people have heard of him? Show of hands. Well, that's good. That's good. That's good. I see that Tim showed his hand. So thank you very much, Tim. He happens to be, honestly, my most favorite hero. Okay, now I'll explain to you why. This is a gentleman that it's hard to believe that somebody, before it happened, somebody had to invent the organization. I was talking about hundreds and thousands of people working in factories. You need an organization. This is the man who did that. Okay? Now it seems like, well, what's the big deal? Think about anything that is sweet now, that seems like, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal, before it was done. This man, Alfred Sloan, founded General Motors, okay, in 1923. At that time, Ford Motor Company was huge, right? The biggest probably in the world. And these guys just started. In 8 years, they beat Ford Motor Company and became the largest manufacturing company that stayed that way for 70 years in the world. Largest manufacturing company, okay? So, yeah, that takes some time. Everything that you see nowadays around the world, the organization, that's him, okay? President, vice president, and so on. Okay, I don't want to get carried away, but organization. That, if you think about it, that you cannot have anything, any company, any group do anything without being organized. And that's the man who did that. Now, right along with him, or actually a couple of years before him, he started it. Maybe he was using Frederick Taylor. This gentleman in 1911 came up with what's called scientific management, which, you know, I mean, it was kind of like industrial engineering. I mean, he invented that, okay? One of his famous sayings was that the duty of all plant managers is to find the best way to do work and provide the tools for doing that work to the worker. Think about that. Isn't that what we all try to do, right? Then the other principle he had might shock you. He said, eliminate waste. Have you heard that? Mm-hmm. Eliminate waste. It seems like, oh my God, what a concept. You know, who invented that? Oh, just 150 years ago. So, but it seems to be amazing even now. Think about that time, right? Eliminate waste. Now, Walter Shewhart, who was that? He was the father of quality, right? And what did he do? Everything that you are using nowadays, you know, SPCs, sampling plans, etc. That's the man, okay? He developed that, okay? And he founded this ASQ also in 1946, okay? And he had a disciple who is much better well known than he. Think about that. Alfred Sloan, nobody has hardly ever heard of him, but everybody's heard of Jack Welch. Jack Welch used to worship that man, okay? So, another entity, original thinkers, ISO, you know who they are, it's an entity. George Blossom is the guy that I grew up with in production and inventory management. He used statistical methods. Oliver White and Joe Orlicke did pretty much the same thing, but now with computers, with tons of calculations that could not be done until computers came. Anybody heard of MRP nowadays? Yeah, it's the main part of ERP. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the weapons. Well, actually, before I get into that, all these people, all these ideas and so on, right? People use them, businesses use them, and the United States did super well. You know, I mean, within a couple of decades, they became the wealthiest nation ever in the history of mankind. That takes some doing. That takes some thought, right? Excepting for one thing. You know what? Because I lived through it, I can testify to it. It's quality. In the 80s, I witnessed the Japanese attack on the United States commerce and industry and economy, okay? That was when the Toyota and so on came in. And why? Because we ignored the quality teachings. Japan took our teachings, used it, and was getting ready to flatten out all our manufacturing industry. Okay, did not happen. So I don't want to belabor that fact, but the thing is that these are the technologies that we had invented, developed, ignored, paid the price. And so from there on, you're going to hear me say, remember the Alamo. mean anything does it mean nothing to anyone here? Remember the Alamo? Okay, good. Remember the Alamo, guys. Look at these weapons that we have, okay? Get ready to use them. Now, the first one was inspection. Inspection comes naturally, right? But the first time it was done in an organized fashion was in building guns, rifles. So what happened is, this was the first time that people were making guns it was not a craftsman. Okay? It was not one person starting the building of a gun and all the way to delivering it. That's a craftsman. Now there are groups of people, right? And when you have groups of people and they make different parts, if you don't have it well engineered, the process well engineered, you're gonna have problems. They're not gonna fit. So what the invention was to have specifications with limits, okay? So you gotta be in these limits so that this part can go fit there, right? And 100% inspection, of course. Now here's a interesting paragraph. It's a short paragraph. I'm not gonna take you through this exercise because I think Eduardo is gonna be not happy if I run out of time. But the way the exercise works is I ask, can you count the number of times the letter F is in it? Okay, F as in father, right? Everybody recognize that. Generally speaking, the answer I get varies from 39 to 58, really, okay? And why is that? Everybody recognizes F. Why can't you guys count, guys? Because we are talking about humans. If you don't believe it, we can do it after this session. Because we're talking about humans, okay? Now, I said 47. How the heck do I know? The reason I know is because I asked Mike. Hey, Mike, you there? He's not here. Okay. Mike Pryor, or Mike Clark, or Mike Robinson, doesn't matter. It's not that kind of Mike. I asked Microsoft, okay? And Microsoft told me instantaneously. What is that? Automation. Automation. Precise and immediate, right? So, 100% inspection doesn't work. So what's the remedy? Smart sampling, statistical sampling. Nothing wrong with that. You have to use it. Unless you have automation, okay? Unless you have automated inspection, for example, all right? So it's pretty interesting that I'm using the same paragraph to prove two things, okay? That you gotta use good sampling and, well, preferably find some automated way of inspecting. Now, remain the same thing. Now I'm going to talk about another measurement. So this is, these are topics on measurement, okay? How to do. Another measurement for risk, okay? Also called risk assessment, right? Now this one is a measurement that I think is crucial, that is not being done in most places, okay? So, I'm going to keep using the term ISO 9001 because it's the base standard for most anything, right? So, risk assessment. I'll give you an example. I go and I do certification audits even now, even though I'm older than 70, they ask me to do it. So, I go in and say, hey, how are the risk assessments? Oh, we do it during management review once a year. Okay. As an auditor, I cannot prescribe, when should they do it, right? I said, okay, cool. And how was it? He said, well, we haven't had any risk for the last 2 management reviews. I mean, it's true. It's true. I have been through them, okay? And I'm saying, oh, really? Now, the real reason, because I have, I mean, these auditees are, I know them well. Say, well, look, Wali, think about it. Risk-based thinking. We are always thinking risk. We step out, we check. Is it raining? No. So, you're always thinking risk. What's the big deal? Why do we have to do this and fill out a form, file it, and so on and so forth, just so you can look at it? I said, forget it. Okay? Fine. You have a system to do it. As an auditor, that's all I can do, is that you have a system, and the system you are using, I see a record, no risks, okay? So you did it. Now, but the point is that think about the most elemental part of a quality program, a quality system. You have a problem, dispose of it, right? Then you need to think about whether or not you need to change the process that produced the product. I mean, the best thing I ever learned, I think the most powerful thing I've ever learned is the axiom, it's part of ISO 9000, is product is the result of the process, of a process. I mean, I think that summarizes everything there is about quality. Well, so if you're gonna not have this problem again, you definitely have to change the process, right? Which means money, effort, and all that. Also called corrective action or preventive action. Why would you not do a risk assessment? Why would you not do a risk assessment? You must assess the risk of not changing the process, okay? So, why wouldn't you? Because, oh my God, all this paperwork, I don't want to deal with it. I'll take a look at it and say, yep, it's good enough, let's do a corrective action. Well, how about using an app? There are tons of apps available. All you have to do is Google them and find them, okay? That you can use on your laptop, on your cell phone, takes 5 minutes to do everything, the assessment, the recording, and more importantly, retrieval of and figuring out a suspicion that you just typed in that, I think I had this risk earlier. It's going to come back and tell you, yes, you did 3 years and 4 days ago. Okay? You're giving up all of that just because you don't want to handle paper. Don't handle paper. Automate. Okay? Then this is another piece with measurement. If I run out of time, it's your fault. You're going to have to tell me. So, look, this is the balance scorecard. Okay, I don't know how many people have dealt with this. I have a lot of respect for that. The concept is that all organizations, you can group the activities in it according to what's called leading and lagging stuff, okay? Factors. So the lagging factor is on the top, financial. By the time the P&L is made, it's too late. All you are doing is figuring out whether how much you lost or how much you made, right? The important stuff is what makes that, okay? And it goes from here to up, and I'll go into more details later. Think about it. Wouldn't it be nice to know, it's the cause and effect. Okay, the one in the bottom causes on the top, that causes the next one up, and so on, okay? Cause and effect, common sense. But nobody did it until there's a fellow, I think, called Kaplan. who came up with this, but I don't know why I don't hear about it anymore. This one also is an amazing concept. The Keynote model. He's giving me bad looks, so I gotta hurry up. You see here, I mean, there are three groups of attributes of a product that affect satisfaction. The one on the top, the excitement, is where you want to be. Very, very few people do it. The two examples that I use are, I'm going to use the shorter one now because I don't want to run out of time, is Apple. Okay? But the one that I really want to use, well, we'll do it later. Apple figured it out. Okay, you remember how people go and sleep outside Apple stores for 2 days, right? Used to, at least. I don't know if they still do. They figured it out. What was it? Like Apple was the wealthiest company in the world about 3-4 years ago, right? Folks, pursuit of quality makes money. Pursuit of quality makes money. I'll take that back. Pursuit of perfection makes money. It's the perfection that you're going to go after, and you're going to see that more a little later. Pursuit of perfection. This graph, everybody recognizes this. Please say yes, otherwise I'll leave. Okay? Okay. So this is the normal curve. You see the variation, the different curves here, the three. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. The point is, you're gonna squeeze the curve. That's what I say. Squeeze the curve. What is the curve? The curve is your process. The tighter you squeeze, the better the process is. You can't just do this. You're gonna do something to the process before you do that. So minimize variation. Sheldon told me, hey, you got to talk about minimize variation, not just squeeze. And okay, cool. Now, a derivative of that is the Taguchi loss function. Not as many people have heard of it or used it. I honestly think this is the most powerful graph that there is. Think about this. What Taguchi said is that's wonderful that we have upper and lower specs. You must have upper and lower specs. But for crying out loud, don't lose sight of the fact that, the target value, loss begins the moment you leave the target value. The moment. It doesn't wait until you get to the upper and lower limits. It happens just when you leave the target. So, Eduardo, everybody will have access to this presentation, right? So if you like this, you can get it. I really like the one on the right, the oranges. It really explains that concept clearly. Now, so improving processes, and if you don't, you get that. What is that? Non-conformances, right? Cost of poor quality. Now, many companies measure them, okay? And many companies, the accounting department measures it, which is a nice thing because that way top management gets to look at it, will look at it, right? But my only word, which is all great, my only word of caution is that it's usually represented by this iceberg. So what's one of the qualities of the iceberg is that most of it is hidden. You gotta keep that in mind. You gotta go and unhide as much as you can. It is not easy, okay? It is not easy. I have had limited success. I have had success doing it, but by the way, if you want to talk to me about any of what I'm saying, we may run out of time here. Could not do here. If you find me, talk to me. I love discussion. If you want to argue, I love arguments too. So, so let's do that. Okay. Now we're going to talk about automation, flat out automation. See the typewriter there? Then on the left is the electric typewriter. It's a little better, right? Now we have Microsoft Word, connect with a printer through Wi-Fi. You want to type up a letter or whatever you want to do, you don't type on a piece of paper anymore. Well, there's probably several people here who have never typed on a piece of paper. How many have never typed on a piece of paper? There you go. There you go. The thing is that their proportion is rising, right? So, because people who have typed on pieces of paper, I personally remember, because I did not used to type anyway, okay? So I took it to Pam, and Pam would type it, and then she'll bring it to me, and hey Pam, sorry, hey, no. We go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then pray that the document is good. Okay? You don't have to do that anymore, right? And not only does it check for spelling mistakes, even grammar, right? And it even suggests that, hey, you really want to, this is what you want to say. that sometimes gets me, okay? But progress, automation, right? So now what I want to say here is that when you go into automation, what I just described is that now we don't need Pam, but Pam used to do a few other things. We don't need Pam, but so we save some money, labor. That's one of the wonderful things that automation does. But I'm here to tell you that it does a whole lot more, and I think I just described it. I mean, I did not eliminate 20% of Pam's time that she sits at her desk. I improved the quality of that document so much more. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. More than that, priceless. It's priceless. So I have a formula that I'm gonna copyright, okay, which is efficiency, which is taking the labor out a little bit. Efficiency is valuable or can be valued. You can put dollars and cents to it. But effectiveness is priceless. Efficiency is valuable, effectiveness is priceless, right? So, and the reason I'm talking about that, folks, is that the next time you want to go and ask for money to automate something, remember that. Okay, remember that, because it's hard to put a dollar sum on it. Why is that? I was talking about, I think, cost of quality when I said that. You can talk to me later about that. So I had this, what I thought was a wonderful idea, right? And I was able to convince the CFO of that. So see, the CFO used to be my boss, and one of his direct reports was Doug, and he was the director of manufacturing accounting, okay? So I wanted to do something about this cost of poor quality. I wanted to go dig up some of the hidden parts, right? So Les Linky, the CFO, said, man, that is good, you are right, man. So, hey, Doug, come here. Can you help Wally? And so, the point is, the short answer, the short picture is that Doug said, look, you see my thing over there? I said, I'm a chartered public accountant. I gotta have beans, no count, you got zero. I don't care, get me fired, okay? So we gotta remember that, okay? It's hard, it becomes difficult. But also remember that. You gotta do that on faith. You honestly gotta do that in faith. Because if you don't, look at that. That is the international program for Quality 4.0. Where are we? US, 6%. Germany, 21%. Remember the Alamo, okay? Now, so automation is the point. Now, I'm going to talk about QMS, okay? What is QMS? In 1992, I was teaching at the University of Houston. I was teaching ISO because everybody wanted to learn ISO. So, I had a leg up because I started that 3 years ago. And so I invented this. This is Smitty, a craftsman. Craftsmen always made wonderful quality, right? That's an article of faith. So Smitty is here, and Billy, his friend and customer, comes along and says, build me a new plowshare. And Smitty says, okay. So he goes away and he looks at some old notes and he makes some changes to the process, produces the plowshare, gives it to him, Billy, and after a couple of weeks, hey Billy, how was the plowshare? It was wonderful. Okay. What happened? That was the description of a complete QMS. I mean, Smitty did everything that's in a QMS, pretty much, right? The only thing he did not do is train, but he was already trained. 100% competent because his daddy trained him for 40 years. And his daddy trained him for another 40 years. A lot of competence in there. So, management system, you gotta have management systems. Why? Because we don't have Smitty anymore, Smitty than you. Smitty is dead, okay? So Smitty is dead, replaced by the organization. And the organization is being run, we hope, by quality management systems, okay? And that is why you gotta have a QMS. But the point is that the organization must be unitized. Another thing that happened about understanding standards is what I call the lab method. The lab method is LAB, L for legal, A for auditor, B for business. Very quickly, the way this works is that let's say I go into a company and I say, you do audits, and he says, no, we decided not to do it. Well, okay, you fail, right? Why? Because that is a rock bottom requirement. You must do audits. I go to the next guy, and the guy says, okay, yeah, sure, we do audits. Here, look at my report. I look at the report, and it is like 21 months ago, right? I said, hey, you have anything within the last 12 months? He said, no, why should I? Standard doesn't require it. Well, he's right, and we're going to have an argument. Who's going to win? Most likely I will still. Why? Because of what's called GAAP, generally accepted practice, okay? Most auditors will support me, basically, is what that's it. Now I go to company number 3, and this lady called Sherry's. She said, of course we do it, okay? And she says, well, we do everything once every 12 months, and the more critical ones once every quarter, and then we do some ad hoc. And we not only look for non-compliance, we look for risks and that. Whoa, this is the B level, okay? The other role is what I talked about in the balance scorecard, okay? And why automate? You know that. Here's another great reason for automating your QMS, because having an automated QMS is like putting the central nervous system in your QMS, okay? And that idea, by the way, came from Mr. fellow called Bill Gates, okay? This is how you put together a wonderful new QMS. You can look at it. Vision for the future. Automation. Remember the Alamo, squeeze the curve, and target the target. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wali. We have time still. We have time for questions and answers. Anybody wants to raise a question? Come here to answer, and I can take the microphone.
Wali.
I have here. Anybody with a
Did you-
question for Wali?
Good morning, everybody. Mr. Wali,
You're gonna give me?
Yeah. Did you want some more?
Yeah, okay. I thought you were offering that. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
the question is, where do you see quality going 10 years, 20 years from now?
I wish I could give you a definitive.
Just this.
I wish I could give you a definitive answer. I don't have one. If you go to ASQ, look for quality 4.0, you will see some elements of it. The big one is in the field, and everything is in the field of automation and especially AI, right? So, for example, one of the most famous examples of that is being done in Germany. They have come up with newer methods of making what? EV batteries, right? And what is unique and amazing is that the manufacturing process, whatever that is being monitored so close. And I mean, long time ago, anyway, it's monitored so close that the process modifies itself live, okay, as it detects something could go wrong. As it detects that something could go wrong. How amazing is that? Now think about, you know what that is? It's called predictive analysis, analytics, okay? Predictive analytics. Now everybody knows and uses analytics, okay? And there are several QMS software that has it in it, okay? I mean, most of them have analytics, but some of them have predictive analytics, okay? So it helps you not only deal with problems that have happened and analyze them, okay, but you use that data to predict what's going to happen. And so the software helps you take care of it before it happens. You understand? I mean, back in the day, we used to make graphs and so on, sorry.
There's another question. I don't know if that's.
Hello. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful, informative presentation by you. Actually, now we are going forward to automation.
Yes,
And we having experience last 2 years the remote audit.
yes.
All the ISO audit is happening remote, and in our organization also we do remote internal audit. So maybe probably the automation also will support for remote audit. So do you feel that it will be effective? Because there is a Tom and Jerry game. If somebody want to bypass the way how to control it.
Right, so my short answer is that remote audits are amazingly effective because I started with my starting point was audit, remote, you crazy, okay? But I did them, and after I did them, I said, no, not too bad, okay? I'm talking to my auditee, I say, not too bad, because, and he said, yeah, it's good. I said, yeah, you're saving the airline ticket to Los Angeles, and I mean, that's good for you. What's good for me is that I'm not getting out of my chair. What's bad for you is that I'm saying, hey Chad, take your camera and go show me that, and show me that. Okay, no. Take a picture of that and send that to me. Well, remote audits are remote audits. There is the element of automation involved, which is that the fact that you can even think of doing it. You could not think of doing it 10 years ago, okay? No, it would be very hard. You can think of doing it, it's reasonably effective. Personally, I don't think it is as effective as in person. It can't be. Why? Because there are people involved, okay? Automation works the best when you take out the people, okay? I mean, that is a fact, you know, the battery manufacturing thing that I saw, I saw pictures of it, I think I saw a video. There was no people there, so the entire thing was run by computers, right? So, yeah.
Now it's time.
Thank you, Wali. And we are going to share the presentation to everybody. You know, I have seen this several times, and every time I see this, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. So I hope it happens to the same to you. So thank you, Wali, for talking of appreciation for us, and you can go to your next presentation. A round of applause for Wali. Go to tracks and please use your badge.